Hey, 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 surprise! It's Shally's
Hello.
Alley. That's right. It is Friday, 1 p.m. US Eastern Time. Not the same
Yeah.
time where my friend Marcel is, but um, it's still Friday, hopefully, there, right? It hasn't changed
It
dates
is
yet.
Friday at
It is
7
still
p.m.
Friday.
On our side.
Friday evening,
Friday
not Friday
evening.
day. That's right. So, wow, you guys are in for a treat. We have someone from across the pond. Although I think a lot of my listeners are also from other places than the United States. At least that's what my Google stats say. Anyway,
Okay.
apparently, people would rather listen to me from other countries than my own country. But that just, is what it is. So for those of you that are wondering who my twin is, we are basically identical twins. Uh, Marcel Vandermeer is a automation, I guess I'll say automation expert, long-time recruiting expert. So first and foremost, he's a recruiter. He works and lives in Amsterdam. You're in Amsterdam, or are you outside of Amsterdam?
No, outside Amsterdam.
Is
I'm two
it?
hours away from Amsterdam. That's near to the German border.
Oh, okay. What's the name of the city?
Emmen.
Emmen. Okay. So, anyways, that part of the world. So it's beautiful there, and I've had the pleasure of visiting a couple of times. It's always a good time. And also, he's come to speak and do presentations at many of the EREs here. So, expert in recruiting, expert in automation, and expert in a very interesting topic that I wanted to dive into today. So, say hi first of all. Hi, Marcel.
Hi.
It's
Thank you
seven
for
o'clock in
having
the
me, by the
evening.
way, Shally. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Yeah, it's always fun when we talk.
Yeah.
You have such great uh, perspective, not perspective. How do I say point of view? Like
Yeah.
the way you see things is a different angle than a lot of other people, and so getting an opinion from you is always expanding my universe. Like it gives
It's,
me more. I'm able to brainstorm more and come up with creative ideas because of our conversations. So it's always a pleasure. Um,
and
and
back at you because you're my identical twin. So, but
That's
that's
right.
same counts for you, Shally.
Sometimes I look in the mirror and I start speaking Dutch. I don't know how that happens. Um, so we agree on a lot of things, but we have very different perspective for it. Like one of the things that we definitely agree on is that you think that AI is not about replacing humans. It's not about
No.
replacing recruiters, whatever, but rather it is about replacing the tasks, or how I say it, it's alleviating you from having to do some of the very mundane, repetitive, formula based things that we do. Not everything that we do in recruiting is a formula, but there are formulas for many things. And
Yeah.
it's easier to have a machine that is very good at applying a formula do that for you correctly and accurately much
Correct.
faster, even while you're actually busy doing something else, like maybe a podcast or something.
Yeah.
So right now I have my robot sourcing and doing some searches for me. So we agree that it's an enhancement. And I wanted to start by saying this has come up a couple of times on the show before, but I have a very strong opinion about, generally speaking, about this what they call a revolution. Okay, in my opinion, you have very advanced techniques and you coach people on how to do this, so you're very familiar
Mhm.
with this. In my opinion, this is not a revolution. To me, this is really an evolution, because you may
Correct.
remember me talking about Power Automate and a lot of other business process automation and robotic process automation. And that was not, I mean, it was like 2 or 3 days before ChatGPT launched. I was already teaching classes on how to do this stuff, and it's no different. The same concepts of how do I take a task and make it repeatable with macros in Excel, going all the way back to I don't even know how long ago. Macros in Excel and VB script, we've been doing that for decades.
Yeah.
So this is really not that big of a difference. What is different is the accessibility, is the fact that before you had to know how to do VB script, or you had to know how to do Google Script, or you had to know how to even just interpret HTML
JavaScript.
code.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
even if you didn't know that, you could still like have to read it so that you could tell the RPA tool what to do. And so now it's a lot easier, but all that means is it's a lot faster. The problem is the same as before. People don't have an idea. They don't know what,
Correct.
right? So the biggest problem with automation, the biggest problem with AI, the biggest problem with all of these tools is that people just don't ideate what could I do with this.
I always say that the limitation of your possibilities is in within yourself. It's
Yeah,
not with the tool or with the
that's my point.
solution.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's it's limited in yourself. They look at a blank screen or a blinking dot, and they don't know what to do.
And you and I used to be like, well, we got to figure out a better way to do this because I'm
Yeah,
going to spend 5 hours creating a VB script for an Excel task that only takes 2 minutes because I'm going to do 20,000 times that task. Right.
correct.
But people don't think that. They just think I'm just going to do the task the way I always do it, and they do it manually. So that's the biggest difference, is that it's not an evolution because it's already been there. But what's different is we can now just automate it so much easier. However, how do you think of the ideas to automate, right? And that brings me to the big question that I wanted to ask you
Yeah,
from all the conversations that we've had in the past.
yeah.
How do you tell the difference, or how do you decide? Let me just say this. People say AI saves time,
Hmm.
right? But how do you tell the difference or separate the flashy demo from an actual measurable productivity gain in your day to day, or even if it's not day to day, even just your week to week? But what is that? Is there a formula? How do you tell it's a good idea to do this, even though it's investing a lot of time to do this because it's
Yeah.
going to save me time in the long term, versus, oh, I got to do this because everybody else says it's cool, you know?
That's true. The last part is absolutely true. People build custom GPTs or whatever, or they do some prompting within ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, just for the sake of it. And you see how much they iterate to get the real good answer out of it.
Right.
That's not automation.
And sometimes that's
Um,
just fun,
it's
experimentation,
fun, of
but
course. It's
you're not
fun.
going to put that into your business process, right?
And the evolution within the AI is also that you can interpret unstructured data or unstructured text with AI. So that's
Yep.
also the difference between our time. I automated a lot with Zapier or with Make.
Yep.
You did Power Automate,
Yep.
but it's the
And
eventually it's the
make.com,
same.
which used to, if this,
It's
then
the
that.
same. Yeah, if this and
Exactly.
that.
Yep.
Set all the same principles, but and it's more easy because it's more drag and drop, and you can ask your AI assistant to I'm running in this issue. How can I solve this? Oh, here's a script for you, and you can put it in, and
Yep.
it's more easy.
Oh my God, I was just doing that like an hour ago, right? I was trying to, I have two monitors.
Yeah,
So, and I have two machines.
yeah,
One of the machines is for a client and it is extremely secure. Like there's nothing can come in and out of it.
no,
But I would like to sometimes be able to have that displayed on one monitor while on the other monitor, my other one, because I work on both of them instead of having to switch back and forth.
yeah,
So I was thinking to myself, every time I switch, I have a MX keys. This one.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a button that switches the keyboard and the mouse. So I just
Okay.
push one button and boom, I'm on the other machine. But I'm looking at a laptop and I'm thinking, I would love to be able to see this display on my big blind person display, right? And so I thought, if I do that, I can switch the mouse and the keyboard, but I can't switch the display. Well, I have a Stream Deck. You know what
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are, right?
yeah. I
Yeah,
have this
Stream Deck.
also. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and I use it
awesome,
for
awesome stuff.
productivity. Yeah, definitely. So I thought there has to be a way that you can push a button and it would switch from mirror display to extend display so that I can go to the other machine and have them both at the same time, or have them extend my main desktop. So extend my
Yeah,
main desktop or have one of each. Well, guess what? There is not. There really is not a very easy way to switch display from mirror to extend in a UI friendly way. There's no button, there's no right. So therefore
There
you can't
should
really
be a script.
you can't right. So there's no way to do it with a button, but with Stream Deck you can do it as a script. So I was racking my mind trying to figure out how to write a bash script that would
Yeah.
switch the displays and trying to like get the resolution and the monitor name. And then I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I went to ChatGPT and I said, how do I write a script that changes from mirror to extend? That's literally all I asked. And it was like, well, there's no easy way to do it. And then it starts going through this, explains me all this stuff. And I go, can you just write the script? And it wrote the script and it was a few lines. And I'm like, okay, I can take this script and I can put it into a home folder and make it into an executable so that whenever I push the button on the Stream Deck, it runs that code and switches the screens. So it created the script for me. But there's a joke. I put the script in, I program it into the Stream Deck, I push the button, and I fully expect the monitors to switch. Instead, the monitor that is my second monitor goes blank.
Oh my gosh.
And not only does it go blank, it also turns off. And now I can't see it. I can't recognize it. I can't. It's complete. It's like it basically just disappeared. The machine doesn't even remember that it ever existed.
Oh
so I have to go back and write a script that says, how do I force recognize? And then it gives me this process to reset. And then I went back in and I had to clean the script. So the lesson is, I could have just started by asking ChatGPT how to write the script for this because I didn't even think about it. But when I did get the script for it, it broke my machine. So I still had to fix it.
Sometimes this works. Sometimes this happens.
Yeah.
This awful. It's also hallucinating a lot of. If you're not a coder, but you can read some codes, sometimes you said, okay, that's going not the right direction. I want to change this. Did you thought about thought about this, and this? Oh, good point. Yeah, let me check that.
That's a good point. I love how they flatter you. That's a very good point. You're such a smart person. Good boy, good boy. It's like, no, I just want the answer, please. So in terms of, I got it fixed, and it did take me about an hour to figure all this out after I crashed the monitor. So now I have a button that I can push. And let me explain to you how often this happens. So throughout the day, I probably switch between my dual displays and my single display probably a dozen times a day. And so each time that I do that, it takes me about 30 seconds. But I do that 12 times a day every single day.
Yeah.
That's 120 times in, 100 days. So I'm saving a significant amount of time by not twiddling around with this stuff. And that's just one simple thing. That's obvious to me, but when it's not obvious, how can you tell? What is the measurable, like, how do you decide this is worth me spending X amount of hours in fixing this stupid script because I'm going to get this outcome versus, oh, I'm, trying to do something that's just fancy and for flair, but doesn't really actually produce anything.
Yeah. What I'm doing with a lot of, most of the times recruitment agencies, because there are a lot of recruitment agencies here in Europe, and they're way ahead of the
and speed is very important to them.
And they've corporates, they're way ahead of corporates. So corporates falls behind. Maybe they're doing some ChatGPT or whatever, but they don't do automation for now. So what I see when I'm doing a lot of roadmap sessions with agencies in Europe and also abroad, is that we always start with the process.
Yeah. Right.
Start with the process.
What are you doing now?
Right. What are you doing now? Where is it leaking? And what you want to automate. So, and make sense what you want to automate. So, one agency has to deliver very fast because they are in a BPO environment. So they have to deliver very fast, and they have to cut their recruitment. So time to deliver a good candidate to the agency, to the BPO portal, from 2 days to 2 to 4 hours. because they have a lot of competition over there, and they also have if a candidate is tagged by another company, they will
Then
get they will get first.
right.
So I was talking with them. How can we automate those processes? And that's really easy. That's not really easy to do, but it's really easy to grasp that idea because they're doing it every single day,
Mhm.
and
Time consuming.
time consuming and losing a lot of time in the selection and so on. And this is an easy thing. Other customer has a couple of hundred people working for them into the as contractors. So they contract people out to their customers,
Hmm.
and a couple of times per year they evaluate the candidates. So they evaluate
Okay.
with a sort of test, and this test outcome they then I've made a custom GPT for it. But then the custom GPT output has to be cut and paste into a Canva because they want to make it real pretty. So for every single report, which takes about an hour per report, so copy and pasting this, do
Hmm.
that, and then make it a little bit more into Canva. So they take about an hour. So an hour times 100 people, 200 people times 4 per time per year is 800 hours. So that's really easy to. There's an automation. So look at your process, see where the time is leaking, and if it's leaking for one person or for 10 person or 20 person, there's also a difference. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yep. So automated for one person, not a bad idea.
Not
Maybe
bad.
maybe time wasting. Automated for 20 people, yeah. Now it's
Yeah,
right because now as an entity, as an enterprise, you might be saving only 10 seconds per transaction, but that's 200 seconds of company time, even though it's only
correct,
Shally's 10 seconds. Yeah. Okay. So that's
correct,
so number one, is it something a lot of people have to do? Okay. Or more, more does it affect more than one
correct,
person? Okay.
correct.
All right, good. What's the next one? Or do you have another one?
Um, what's your business model? So
Okay.
if the fast time is very important for you, that's one thing you have to automate a lot of things, because if you're not the fastest in your business, then you have to try to automate a lot of stuff. So that's also one thing. Another thing is take away the boring stuff from
Yeah.
recruiters.
Right.
So
Right. So that
that
one may not even be, it might not save you a lot of time, but it's boring, right? So maybe it takes you 2 seconds to do a keystroke, but less than a second to do a button. No, you're only saving 1 second, but you're doing that 500 times and it's time consuming or boring. Like I'm thinking like Excel, when, so I used to see recruiters that had to like split the name and the email
oh yeah,
as
yeah,
and they're like doing it one by one. It's like, oh my God, that's going to take you forever. Right. Versus nowadays you could just do a fill series, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. Okay. Well, that's three
Or
really good things. Yeah.
note takers is also very
Oh
easy,
yeah,
because
right.
that's also a huge time saver for a lot of people, because you have you can really focus on the conversation with the candidate or with your hiring manager, whatever. You have raw data out of this. You have, if you have this configured it correctly, you have also an internal or a job, how do you call this, a candidate profile out of the
Mhm.
interview you have.
For the
You
candidate. Yeah.
can have a lot of technology behind it to get more information for your interviewees, so for your interviewers. So hey, look at this, or people want to you speak too much, or you don't ask too many open questions, whatever. But the main thing is also that you have a raw data in the candidate database in your ATS, so you can also search those things if you have a good search engine and your ATS.
Okay. Yeah. So you have the notes inside of the record, CRM or
Correct.
whatever. Okay. Yeah.
CRM or
Okay.
ATS, whatever.
Have you found this? Again, one of the things that I kind of laugh internally about, um, the whole concept of like text to speech, speech to text,
Yeah.
right? There was a company, I don't know if they're still around, called Dragon Dictate, that was really good at this. And there's
Yeah,
been
but mostly from blind people, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And there's been
Yeah.
a lot of technology around um, speech to text, and Macs, for example, Macintosh has had a lot of stuff built in, both from the read it to me and from I talk to you and you put it in and everything. That's been around for a very long time, since before
Correct.
AI. And then AI comes around, and all of a sudden everybody's aware of this, and it's now like what you're saying. Let's translate interviews. It didn't. It used to be you could record an interview and send it to a machine to type it out. So that's not that new.
No.
But what is new is what I found this to be, and this is the funny part to me anyway. It used to be that those you would get a transcript, and there would be all kinds of weird typos,
Yeah.
or things that were not spelled correctly, or words that were similar, but that's probably what the machine heard. However, it's not what you meant, right?
Correct.
Right. So now that still exists, but what I've noticed is that the LLMs are actually really good at ignoring it.
Contextualizing.
Right.
Contextualizing. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you see the transcript, it's still awful.
Yeah. Correct.
But the machine language translation or wherever, when you get the notes and the outline, it gets the idea across. So
Correct.
you don't have to worry about spelling proofing, what's it called? Spell checking or whatever the document, because for the most part, I really am interested in the outline, not the actual word for, like in the document. Yeah, yeah, sir. Yeah, that's not useful, right? So what I've noticed is that that's really what's gotten really, really good is the summarization.
Yeah.
Where else do
Correct.
you find summarization besides interview or dictation? Where else do you find summarization? I can give you my idea if you have another one, other than interviews or calls, right?
Interviews or calls, summarization of YouTube videos or websites or whole websites or profiles of people, LinkedIn, GitHub, whatever. You can have so much. Every time it's too long to read, summarize it.
Mm-hmm.
I have
Well, TLDR, basically.
yeah, TLDR is that too long do not read is the
Too
abbreviation,
long,
yes.
didn't read it. Yeah,
Yeah,
can't read it,
correct.
can't be bothered. Yeah.
I've comment as my browser, so I've the assistant in there, and I can ask to summarize a page for
Yeah.
me. It's really handy. It's not as clever as people say, so you can't do searching or whatever with it, but it's getting better and better.
Well, you would love my browser.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, it is. It does all of that.
Oh, okay.
And when you said Comet, I was thinking, is that Perplexity? Who's Comet?
Yeah, perplexity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The one that I use is made by the browser company, and it's called Dia, for day in Latin, Dia.
Okay.
And basically, it does a multi-tab. So if you have 15 LinkedIn profiles, open in
Yeah.
different tabs, you can actually interact with all of them through the chat. It's basically
Yeah.
a chat-based browser. So
Yeah.
what changed is that it's really not a browser; it's a chat that opens pages,
Okay.
basically, right? So you have all these tabs open, and you can ask it to collect information, interact with it, stuff like that. You can also create custom scripts, like a prompt, like you could with Claude or GPT or Copilot or
Mhm.
Gems in Gemini. That is a set of instructions that you can invoke by a single command, a backslash or whatever, which do things like, for example, let's say that you normally need to make an outline of this stuff to put into a PowerPoint. You can say,
Yeah.
outline this, right? And that it knows what you mean by that. Translate this, or extract this, whatever. Getting emails from a page, or if are there any emails in these profiles, extract email addresses, those kinds of things. But it also does other things. It remembers on your machine locally. It remembers things like how you write. And after a few days of using it, it starts to write for you. So
Okay.
if you're going to reply to a message, it actually fills out what it thinks you're about to say. And that is taking advantage
Yeah.
of one of the major things that these LLMs do, which is token prediction, which is
Correct.
what is the next token that usually comes after this. That's really what they're doing, is based on everything we've ever seen, there's a whatever percentage that the next word is going to be this.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's great when it's general generic stuff, but this is looking at my emails, my documents, so it starts to write with my same kind of weird style. And of course, it does it in advance of your cursor. So it's not writing it and then saying go back and delete. It's like you type and it puts it in forward progressively, and then if you want it, you just hit space and it, you know, and then you can also backslash correct and stuff like that. So it's really useful at reading the page. Like for example, LinkedIn comments, right?
Yeah.
It used to be I had to actually type in the whole thing, but now I can actually from the sidebar, I can say comment slash, and it will write the comment
Oh, okay.
under that box. It opens the reply and it writes it under the box. I can still backslash and edit it, but it's a lot faster for me to make a comment on a page by starting to type comment and then start to type something, and then it sort of knows what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's automating every little tiny thing like that. So it learns from me, it automates daily things that I'm normally doing, and it works across pages. Now, that's just the beginning. What I'm starting to do now is actually take control of the browser through the bot. And that's a little bit different. That's where I'm actually telling the bot to do something, and then it goes and does it on my machine
Yeah. Yeah.
with, including like logging into websites. For example, if you want to look something up in a password protected website, you have to log in, assuming you're not logged in, go to the page, click on the box, type things into the box. And then you and I used to do that through URL injection. Remember back in the Opera
Yeah.
days
Yeah.
where you would have like a slash command and it injects the variable? This is doing that, but on anything. It's a lot more multi-purpose.
Advanced.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
fast and multi-purpose. Yeah.
Wow.
So those are some good examples, really good examples of um, saving time without getting sidetracked into, oh, this is just bright shiny object.
Yeah.
When you walk
So
into a company, oh, sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also made some automation for myself. One of them is my email because I hate replying to my
Oh,
email. So I made an automation for my email. So my AI reads every email I have. It automatically tags my email if it's a newsletter, is it a partnership, or is it a customer inquiry. And then based on the email, it will draft me a response in my tone of voice. So I only have to check the drafts or redo them and send them away. And the next step is that I'm doing it automatically. And I also did it for my LinkedIn, so my LinkedIn inbox,
mhm.
because I get a lot of inquiries. You have a guide for me? Okay. I always did a bit magical text expander, but it's also taking time. So I made also an automation for
Because it's
there
the same
for
question over and over again, right? Yeah,
same question over and over again.
right.
So for 400 times I'm on a guide. Okay, you can have a guide. But now I've automated that part, and also the questions I get in my LinkedIn inbox is also with a little human in the loop thing in it, because sometimes it hallucinates or I want to edit a little bit, but it's getting better and better.
It reads your LinkedIn from a browser, or
No, it's in done in NetN. I have an
okay,
API
it's
with my
going
LinkedIn.
into, got it.
Yeah,
Right. So it's actually opening a LinkedIn page behind the scenes,
correct, correct.
headless browser or whatever they call that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's the API call.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the question I was going to ask is, when you walk
yeah,
into a company, and this may be a little bit of the secret sauce, but when you walk into the company that has said we want to do AI,
yeah.
they bought in, right? What's the first sign that you look for that tells you that their AI adoption or their AI wants are superficial rather than actually significantly transformational?
Good question. Good question. What kind of signals am I looking for? If
If they're
there's a
really
lot
just like
there,
looking for the
there is a
eye
lot
candy,
of AI fluff about AI agents. I want agents for everybody, for
right?
everything. There are no real AI agents
Yep,
now. There are agents lookalikes, but not real AI
that's
agents.
right. So if they say
Um,
we want agents, you know right away that okay, I'm
I
gonna have
have
to
to
do some
be, I have to
education,
be, yeah, I have to do some education. So
right?
one of the things I'm also doing is making a context book. So what is an AI agent actually
Yeah,
is, and what is an LLM, and what is so I'm making this also
got it.
available for people. So because there is a lot of noise around. So
Yeah,
people also say that a custom GPT is an agent. Ah, build an agent. Okay, let me show it. And they open a custom GPT. I said, there's no not an agent. That's a custom GPT. Um, so that's one. So the and also what they're trying to achieve with it. So there's also a good goal.
like
Uh,
what is a big thing that they're saying that they want to achieve that you're just like, oh come on, please.
yeah. So they want to get rid of all the people. But for example, I never heard it, but that could be one of the red flags for me, because you don't want to get rid of people. You want to replace tasks, and the tasks are can be replaced by automation, and some automation with AI, but it's not always AI that's running the game. It's a lot of the times, I think 90%, 89%. No, let's do the Pareto 80-20 rule. 80% is automation and 20% is AI.
Okay,
Um, so,
that's a really good way to apply that formula. The 80-20 rule or the Pareto principle by the
yeah,
Italian economist Pareto, I'm explaining for the audience. It was an economic theory. When it started, it was 80% of the wealth is owned by 20% of the people. But it became sort of a golden ratio of the multiplier effect. So
correct,
20% of your activity produces 80% of your results, for example.
correct,
So what you're saying is 20% of it is actually AI and
correct.
80% of it is the automation. That
Automation.
makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Yeah, and of course that lines up with what my experience, which is there's really not a whole lot of AI. It's just a lot of automating tasks. And in my case, it's being able to push a button that initiates the task, but the task itself is automation. It's
Yeah,
not really AI. It's just that I now have a button that I can push. That was the AI part, as in the ChatGPT that could just spit out the code, right? It spit out the code. I still had to fix it, but at least it did that where I was spending too much time trying to write it. So that makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah.
Um, when they say we want to replace everybody with agents, though, what does that really mean?
They don't know what they're talking about because
But yeah, I know that. But like, are they saying we want to save money, or are they saying
yeah, they want to save money, or they want to be a part of the AI hype, or they want to do more with less people, and that's all. That's also fine if you want to do more with less people. That's
we've always wanted to do more with less people? That's why
yeah, of
machines were
course.
invented. I'm pretty sure the wheel was invented because somebody wanted to do more with less people.
Yeah, correct.
Um, and in my opinion, this may be controversial, but I think that what we call AI now, this whole automation and large language models that are and machine learning, which is what this really
Yeah,
is really not that different than when the internet came around. Business was business until the internet, and then when the internet came, there were a lot of people that said the internet's going to take all the jobs. The internet's going to destroy the economy. The
yeah,
internet's going to take over. So many things that were fantastically good and also horrible were assigned to the internet, right? And eventually, it's now basically the same as electricity or water. It's,
correct.
the internet is something that we use in order to do our job. It's not what used to be sensationalized. This is the same thing. It's to say, oh my God, AI is going to replace. What's going to happen is eventually AI will be like the internet or electricity or water. These will be things that are built into everything that help you do stuff faster because it's more efficient. It's literally that's all it is. It used to be you had to put a letter on a pony in order to horseback ride all the way through the desert to get a letter from one place to the other. And then somebody said, what if we go with tit, 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 and then now it's
Morse
telegram.
code, Morse
Right.
code.
So did that revolutionize things? Not really, because we were still writing letters. They're just shorter and faster. It just made the world smaller. And then the internet made the world smaller again. And now this is making the world maybe bigger, but it's the same kind of change. It's
It's
not.
the same kind of change. The only thing
Yeah.
I'm not
What's your
worried
thought?
about, but it's more the fast pace is going right now. So it's replacing the task more faster than we can replace it with new jobs.
So you're
Uh,
saying that it would be like if the internet took more jobs than because the internet also generated a lot of value in the
Of
economy,
course,
right?
it
Right.
generated a lot of value in the economy, but it came more gradually.
So this is just faster.
This is faster. It's really fast.
Well, there's a theory of economic evolution that says that anytime a particular cycle or jump in advancement of some kind in economical advancement, for example, going from a hunter-gatherer society to an agrarian society,
Yeah,
every time there's a change like that, whoever does it next, so the next society or economy to do that change, for example, here in the US, going from an agrarian society to an industrial society,
yeah,
let's say that takes culture A 100 years to go from agriculture to industry. This theory says that the next time another culture or another society does that will be 50% reduced in time. So if it took country A 100 years to go from farm to factory, it
yeah,
will take country B 50 years to go from farm to factory, and country C 25 years to go from farm to factory. And this has been proven many times because that change was gradual for that country, but for the other country, they learned from a lot of those mistakes and
yeah,
improvements and did it faster. So the argument could be it took 20 years for the internet to change the world. Maybe it'll take 10 years. I'm literally just making up numbers
yeah.
for
Of course.
ChatGPT. So it will be faster than the internet. My question though is it's not really a I guess I'm asking for you to predict the future. Um,
Yeah.
is this is
To
this
look back baseball.
exactly, yes, magic ball. Is this right now, this is the change, or is this, in my opinion,
It's a
this is
change.
this is the fetus that will grow up into the change?
This is a change for certain jobs. So any white collar jobs, for example, consultants, accountants, but also customer services, translators, writers,
Mhm.
content makers, content engineers, developers, software developers. What do you have here more?
So
All
for
those kind of
them,
jobs.
this is the change.
This is a change for
There's not
them.
another one in a few years.
No,
Okay.
no, I don't.
But for other industries, there's a bigger change coming.
Yeah, of course, because this is now for text or
Mhm.
for image or
Words,
whatever.
right?
Context, text generation. It's really a text generator. But also the humanoid robots is also replacing some jobs within the factories.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's good because the factory is too
Unsafe. Yeah.
unsafe, or in a nuclear reactor or whatever, you want to have humanoid robots instead of actual people.
Hmm.
But it's also going to change a lot of jobs. So, and the fastness where it's going with, maybe I'm explaining myself not correctly because English is not my native language, but um, the fastness where it's going, that's the internet was a little bit more slow. It disruptive, but more slow. And this is changing more tasks by
Right.
automation and AI or large language
Got
models.
it. more
And
tasks, broader influence faster than
correct,
the internet, but it's the same kind of principle of change.
correct, correct.
What do you think is I think that the hype of the internet was tempered a little bit because some people were like, that's just a lot of hype, and they didn't get absorbed into it. But in this case, I feel like we have, as a society, been hypnotized, and the hysteria, hysteria,
Yeah, yeah, no,
the
yeah,
hysteria, and the rapidness, the easiness in which people are just accepting these big claims is so bad. If you told me in 1997 that there was going to be an internet that basically created an entire industry, the SiliconValley.com, I would have been like, I
I don't know.
maybe should, yeah, but I'm not going to just believe that, right?
Yeah,
But now, if you told anybody on the street that there's an AI that is already curing every cancer in the world, they'll go, "Oh, really?"
yeah,
They don't even. There's like not even a hold on a minute. That's not possible, right? So people are just believing universally any bullshit that people
as
say.
long as AI.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
with the internet, some people were like, "Oh, cool," and other people were like, "I don't think so. Let's wait and see." With AI, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." So the other day, I saw a post that said, "AI is dead. It's not artificial intelligence. It's now sentient intelligence. We have a new tool that's better than AI because it's sentient." I'm like, "Listen, dude, AI doesn't even exist. So you're replacing it with something that also doesn't exist. It's not
correct,
really
correct.
AI, right?" But people are just seeing that and they go, "Wow, look, this is revolutionary." Why are we so hypnotized? I mean, to me, it feels like this. It feels like, "Look deeply into my eye,"
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "Oh,
There's a good
Gaga."
YouTube documentary about I think it's in Dutch by the way, but it's a
I have
Chinese.
an API that can translate.
Yeah, yeah, you can translate. A Chinese professor who also predicted. He also worked in America, by the way, so he's not real Chinese. But he also predicted the financial crisis and some other
Oh,
things.
okay.
So just to give some context around it, he says that it's more a rat race, more rat race to
This
get
one is more
more
okay.
money, to get more money.
Got it.
So eventually, there are some big tech companies, most of them in the US, but also in China, they are in a rat race to get more money for this. There's no AGI. There won't be any AGI for the next 5 or 10 years
Yeah,
whatsoever.
I agree with that. Not what they call an AGI, artificial general intelligence. That's
Yeah,
that for folks that are listening. Not everybody,
I'm
is keen
sorry.
on the
Yeah,
lingo. No, that's okay. I was just going to
yeah,
explain just briefly. An artificial general intelligence is different from what we call AI now, which is a chatbot, in that the AI that we're selling nowadays is basically the equivalent of a Roomba that can go around your house and sweep everything on the carpet because it's learned your house, it knows where everything is, and it knows how to navigate, and it's smart by learning. But an artificial general intelligence is a Roomba that can do your homework, take the kids to school, do the laundry, and write a dissertation.
correct.
That doesn't exist.
No,
And it may someday, but not right now. So anyway, just for folks that were, can we
yeah.
talk about money? I like money. I don't have very
Okay,
much,
like also money.
but
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
I fortunately wish I would have more, and I can't really figure out ways to make that happen. But I do like money. Um, what are the hidden costs of this trend, this adoption that people ignore? For example, they say we want to automate, and then you start coming up with real solutions
Yeah,
that really automate, and they realize it's getting expensive, and now they're like, "Ooh, that's a very do we really want to do that?" So, what are the hidden costs that people just don't even consider? Because they say, "Well, we're going to automate and we're going to eliminate 3 jobs because we only need one person to do this now because of automation." Yes, but how much did it cost you?
Correct.
Can you tell us what
Correct.
those are, or not all of them, but like hint at what
The
those are?
automation tool you use,
The subscription, yeah, but there's
subscription
more than
of
just the purchase price.
yes, more than a purchase price. You have to maintain it. You have
Mhm.
to feed it. You have to if it's broken, you have to put it back
Fix
to
it,
life,
and you have to
fix
pay
it.
somebody else to do it.
Yep, correct. So that's our one of the hidden costs. The tokens you have to pay. The tokens is the price you pay for every word you say back and forward with the large language model. So if you put something to ChatGPT or OpenAI, then you have to pay some price for that. That's not a huge price, but if you do large pieces, it's going to be more costly. What else? Voice agents. We didn't spoke about voice agents. There's also new a voice, not voice agents. Falling in the trap myself. It's large language models with a voice to it, so they can interpret it voice and they can speak back to you at a real natural language with even and everything. So there is a huge potential for barbershops, restaurants,
Mm,
what you have. Also for hospitals, by the way, because
yeah, yeah.
hospitals have a very high rate of not showing up. I don't know how you call this. But people don't show up with the appointment. It's costing
Hmm.
a lot of money for the hospital,
Yep.
but also for a barbershop and for a
Yeah, yeah.
restaurant.
If yeah, you have an appointment, that person's not going to do their job that they get paid for.
Correct.
Show up, yeah.
And you can make a real nice automation around that. So the day before you call the person up, you say, "Hey, this is the AI assistant of this and this barbershop. You have an appointment tomorrow at 9 a.m. Are you still coming? Yeah, I'm still coming. Okay." And then you have more certainty that it will come. And that's an automation with some large language model which can speak with the
Yeah,
level lab or
yeah.
whatever. So that's also a hidden cost, but it saves you money.
And if it's
Yeah,
a cost that turns out to be um, a savings, then you're really just investing. I'm thinking
correct,
about the costs that you don't really see that end up costing more. Like for example, the they want to implement this new AI software that's doing stuff, whatever it is, posting jobs or sorting resumes, but and they think, oh, we're going to save time and money and that do faster. Maybe we need fewer recruiters, whatever. But somebody has to program that. Somebody has to maintain it. Somebody has to supervise it. Somebody has to fix it. And somebody has to train the people that are still there on how to use it. And they're going
correct,
to have to be training those people over and over and over and over again.
correct,
Just those people, but the new people, and even the same people that forget. So there's all of those costs. And then there's also the costs of how do you connect this to the other things that you have to do? Because it might be great that your AI can do this, but what if it doesn't talk to the ATS? Now you have to pay someone to make it connect to the ATS. So
correct.
people just don't think about this, and it adds up.
Yeah, that's also what I'm doing in the roadmap. So it's not about okay,
Oh,
we
good.
can do
Okay.
this, but what are the costs and what are the actual costs? So uh, what is to maintain?
Right.
Uh,
Sure.
I
Yeah,
see.
we can do that. We can automate everything,
Yeah.
but it'll cost you $75 million.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I don't want to do that.
But I also see a lot of small SaaS solutions where they a software as a service solution where they pay a lot of money for this and connecting everything to their ATS. And they're not looking at their core ATS or CRM, what they can do with their core CRM or ATS. They don't really use that well their own software and they're just plugging in some other stuff to get something work. But eventually they have to change their process sometimes because they want to have a specialized process because they are special. But that's not always the case because the ATSs make a process for the majority, and most of the time it will work. But sometimes you have to look at your own process, and maybe you have to change your process a little so you don't have to spend that amount of money to do additional tools or whatever. And you have also a lot of AI tools which can solve some little tiny thing, and before you know it, you have a whole AI or application and AI landscape that you don't know how it works. Then you have
Oh,
a really big problem.
you know what? That I just thought about that. You like cars. We've talked about this before,
Yeah.
right? And it's like the when I was still a teenager, I actually built my own motorcycle.
Oh,
I
I
took
never
the
knew that.
frame from, yeah, it was fun. It was a fun project, and it was a small one. But I borrowed not borrowed. I
Don't.
recovered the
Oh, you
frame
recovered.
from a wrecked motorcycle. So
Okay.
someone had a motorcycle that they wrecked, and everything was broken, but the frame was actually in perfect condition. So I
Okay.
just basically they're throwing it away, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take the frame. So I got the frame, and then I bought an engine. The engine was from a different frame, but I refitted it. So I put it all together, and I put all the pieces together, and it ran. And every time that motorcycle broke down or something was wrong with it, I was able to fix it while I was on the motorcycle. Like I would be driving around, it would stop working. I could just literally just fix it, and because I knew everything because I put it there, right?
Yeah.
The last motor that was the first motorcycle I had. The last motorcycle that I had was a BMW Cruiser. Everything in it was completely sealed. I couldn't even
Yeah.
get in, and if I tried to open it, it would void the warranty. So that's what you just described. When we used to do VB script on Excel, we knew how it worked. And if it broke, we could fix it. But
Correct.
now it's a black box. We don't even know where to even start fixing it.
Correct.
That's scary.
Could be scary, but if you make the right decisions and make the right automation with the right automation tools, then you know how to. Um, it's not always about fixing things, but it's also about
Updating, replacing.
documenting, updating.
Oh, yeah, right.
And the documentation here in the European law is also very important. So if you use AI, you have to document everything.
Right. Because that way you can go back and figure out where it went wrong.
Correct.
Right. That's smart. That should be a requirement anywhere. I remember when it used to be hiring software engineers in the early 2000s, and one of
Yeah.
the interview questions had to do with REM statements, because a lot of people just didn't even comment their code, and so the code did the stuff that it was supposed to do, but the next engineer couldn't even figure out what it was doing. And
Correct.
so it was like it started becoming a requirement that you have to explain your code in the code so that future people can read it. It's kind of what you're saying is we need to do that with AI. We need to explain the AI while you're doing it so that somebody else can figure out.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's a requirement, man. But I don't think a lot of people do that. I think they just turn the button
No,
on and they go, "Hey, we
it
automated
works. It
it."
works.
Right. 20 minutes later, it stopped working. Why? Oh, LinkedIn changed their interface. Oh no, not again. 5 minutes later, they changed it again. Um. So anyway, I did have one more question. This has always been it's talking to you is always fun. It's always very expanding my mind. But I had one
Likewise.
more question.
Likewise.
Thank you. Um, what pattern do you see that distinguishes a team or an individual that can take AI into actual placements versus people that just they end up using the tool, but it doesn't. I mean, maybe it helps them do business faster. Maybe it saves them money. It does a lot of things. It helps you. It's more efficient, etc. But
Yeah.
it doesn't actually turn into more revenue. Like,
Yeah.
what is the difference between someone who takes AI and makes more revenue versus someone who takes AI and just works faster?
There are
Is there a difference?
two different questions, I guess. Because the first you said which companies or which
I guess some
people.
people just do AI because they're lazy and they don't want to do the work. versus
That's
other people
that's
do
that's fine.
AI.
That's fine.
Yeah,
There's always good.
that's it. I'm
There's a
raising my
good.
hand.
Yeah,
Very very lazy here. But what I'm asking is, what's the difference between me, the lazy person, and
yeah.
someone who says, I'm going to do this so I can double my revenue?
That's a different angle
Yeah. So there's no
because
difference. I mean, in the
there's no.
person. Okay. Okay.
It's a different in the person because sometimes CEO or director of an agency wants to double the revenue or want to be the smartest recruitment agency in their space, or they have some sort of ambition and they want to use AI to reach that ambition. Then I always downplay it because okay, let's look at your process. Why we have to look at a process? Let's look at your process,
Mhm.
and then we're going to figure out which we do the first 90 days, then the next couple of months, and then afterwards, but we can have that ambition. Okay, I want to have a hiring assistant next to my every people, and they want to solve everything for them. Okay, that's a good ambition, but that's a good ambition for maybe 2027 or 2028, but not for right now.
Mhm.
First, you have to fix this, and you have to keep that in mind that this is your biggest goal, your big hairy
Oh,
goal,
okay.
and then you have to downplay it. What is the first 90 days? And also use an action priority matrix. That's the Eisenhower matrix, but it's
Mhm.
the action priority matrix. So
Urgent, important. Yeah.
it's low effort, high effort, of high effort, low effort, and then low gains, high gains.
Yep.
And the high gains with low effort are your quick wins.
So I think I understand better my question now, and basically it translates to, it's not necessarily the difference in the person, but the difference in the objective. So sometimes you have an objective that is really, you think it's about saving money, but it's really saving you time. Obviously,
Yeah,
that may save you money, but you're really looking at things to automate because it's less work, not necessarily by profit. And what you're saying is, first, before you decide on what to automate first, or what the first thing you do when you decide to automate, the first thing you do is figure out which automations or which improvements are going to be the most impactful in the shortest amount of time.
correct.
And then you have some wins. And then, yeah, so, but if you focus on that long term one, you might be building the castle for 100 years before it's made, and
Yeah,
nobody,
correct.
yeah,
We're gonna be the Sagrada Familia
right,
in Barcelona. That's a huge church over there, which is built already 100 years and still building it.
right. Nobody can use it until it's done. Not in that case, but
Correct.
so the reason I asked the question, so that changed my question, but I got the answer I wanted. The reason that I asked the question was because I was thinking about the scooters. Um, Amsterdam is, I know you don't live there, but you and I have been there before. So
Yeah,
it's a city where a lot of people choose to walk and a lot of people choose to ride bicycles.
yeah,
More
correct,
people choose to do human transportation than cars there than in a lot of other cities. Maybe it's the
correct.
design of the city for whatever the reason. But in cities in the United States, there was this like boom, which is starting to now fade finally, of these scooters. They're like little platforms with two wheels and a handle, and they put those everywhere in downtown, and people were using this. And the reason I'm asking the question is most people use that because they didn't want to walk, not because they would be making more money if they got there faster. So it became this luxury that lazy people who didn't want to walk were using just for the laziness, when people who actually needed to get somewhere quickly couldn't use it because the lazy ones were using it. And it also became, the lazy ones would leave them laying around on the floor in the entrance of a building and stuff like that, where the people who really needed them to get somewhere quickly, they would be the ones that actually would park it, make sure it gets charged. So it just became a problem where so much of the laziness happened that the city even had to start passing laws against it, because they were getting in the way of wheelchair access, they were getting in the way of cars entering driveways, they were tripping people, causing accidents. And so that kind of automation really fed the worst part of us
Yeah, of course.
instead of the best part, which is I could go to a lunch and come back in 10 minutes instead of half an hour because I can get there faster. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I was asking.
It's all about the objective,
Yeah,
and most of the time, if you speak with the directors or with the senior management within an agency, they have a pretty good idea where they want to go, but they don't know how to do this.
right. This is what we were talking at the beginning. They don't have the
Yeah.
idea how. Well, we have arrived at the end of our time, and I don't want to keep you past, but there's always a
Ah,
question I ask all my guests every time, and that is, who should be our next guest?
oh, good question. Good question.
Somebody you
Uh,
would like to see. Doesn't mean that they will accept the invitation, but whoever you think is going to be a good addition to the show, um, I will reach out and ask them because, you know,
um, I love to see Getty again.
okay,
I know he was on the show before, I guess.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I'll write that down.
but
Anybody else?
he, uh,
You don't have to give me two people. One is more than enough, but
yeah,
yeah. Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for showing up at your Friday night. You have better things to do on a Friday night. So thank you
yeah.
for being here. We all
I have,
appreciate it. I
have
appreciate it.
to nurture my wife now.
Yeah, that's right. Close the business and make some dollars. All
Yeah,
right, my friend. Well, I will see you. Hopefully, I was going to see you in Amsterdam for Socio, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So maybe we'll find another way to meet, or we'll see you at ERE or something.
yeah. Would love to come again.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Come back next Friday. We have Ben Solomon as our guest.
Also very
And
good.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. And until then, be kind to yourselves.